Hello and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Steve Turner, and once again joining me is Matthew Elliott. Matty, we're 6 rounds in. How good's the footy been?
It's been absolutely stunning, mate. How's your tips going? Because I'm operating at about 15%. I've got no idea what's going on.
Well, unfortunately this year, Matty, I'm not in the office tipping competition,
Ooh,
but one team, the St George Illawarra Dragons, they're the talk of the town, and in particular their forward pack. How good are they going and how much are they dominating sides this year?
Well, when we say pack, that's what they're doing. They're hunting as a pack, and that's a really key feature when we start looking at their performance levels. It's what they're doing together, not as individuals. That's, look at this, kick chase. Forwards aren't supposed to do this, mate.
And Paul Vaughan leading the charge here and scoring a nice meat pie against the Gold Coast Titans. But as you say, they are working to pack, whether it be they're starting on the field. Look at that, making their intentions felt against the Cronulla Sharks. Once again, James Graham, Jack de Belin involved, Tyson Frizell there. They're just working as a pack, whether they're starting or whether they're coming off the bench.
Yeah, mate, and as I say, there's lots of ouch attached to everything they do, whether they're carrying the ball or defending. They're really stinging oppositions. Have a look at that tackle technique. They're working on the little things in the game, and it's really evident in their performance.
Tariq Sims playing on the left edge there. He's unbelievable this year. Lee Sanama, how good's he been off the bench? He's been instrumental for the St George Illawarra Dragons coming off the bench. But as you said, they've got a lot of intent, a lot of purpose about their football this year.
Yeah, well, Paul Vaughan comes off and everyone wipes the sweat off their brow. Guess what? Here comes Leeson Armau, and he is absolutely running amok in a completely different way, but is equally effective.
Let's look at some stats. These stats show you why they're so good. They're averaging around 100 run metres per game. That's 6 players. But look at their errors. Jack de Belin, James Graham and Paul Vaughan have all only made 1 error this year. You look at some of the missed tackle counts there. Lee Sanama has only missed 2 tackles all season, and the tackle efficiency, they're all around the 90% mark. So Paul McGregor must be happy the way these 6 players are playing.
Sometimes us ex-coaches can look into these stats far too deeply. For me, what that tells me, they're all on the same page. They've all bought into their structure of play that their coach has given to them, and they're connected. And that's what you see, a unit there.
They're 6-0, Matty. There's a lot of talk at the moment. The rep scene's coming around. For Brad Fittler and the New South Wales side, how hard is it to overlook this forward pack? And in particular, players like Tyson Frizell, who's obviously been there before, but Paul Vaughan, Jack de Belin, and one man for me, Tariq Sims. How hard is it for Brad Fittler to overlook these players?
They have to be in consideration because, Brad Fittler's talked about bringing a new culture into this team. I think that these guys, really actually exploit the attitude that he's looking for. So very difficult for him to overlook all those players you mentioned.
Because there's certainly Jack de Belin, he's an energy player. Tariq Sims, he just looks so angry and so mad. He just looks so pumped up every time he takes the field. But as you say, these players, I think, in my opinion, are made for Origin. And you can't go past the number 9 as well. How good's he been?
He's definitely got to be in calculation, for the Origin team. There's no doubt about it. Jack de Belin's an interesting one because I think him and Jake Trbojevic, when you think about the tackle technique and the workload and the skill that they bring to a team, they could be a real dangerous combination.
I'm going to throw a quirky stat at you, Matty. 25 years ago, on this day in 1993, the St George Dragons played Canterbury. They won 18-14. They were 6-0. They lost round 7. The current St George Illawarra Dragons side are 6-0. They're going across the ditch. Can they be 6-1 or can they make it 7-0?
Well, that's a really great question. I think they're going to go 6-1 again. I don't want them breaking that record for some reason.
Why? Do you have a close attachment to that 1993 side?
I was a part of the squad, mate, but I did my ACL in the first round, which is probably the reason why they were 6-0, because if I was in the team, I'm quite sure the stats would have been different.
Now, before I let you go, Matty, what are you looking forward to in round 7?
We're going back over the ditch, mate. Like the Dragons playing the Warriors, 2 of the form teams in the competition. The forward battle, which we've already talked about, is something I'm salivating about.
For me, it's Sunday afternoon, Parramatta Eels hosting the Manly Warringah Seals, 2 sides with their backs against the wall. I want to see the Eels get a victory. They've made plenty of changes. There's been a lot of talk about the Manly Seagulls as well. They were poor last week, but I think the Parramatta Eels can get off the bottom of the table and get their first victory of the season.
Mate, I don't agree. Well, I think we're going to have a little bit of a lover's tiff. We don't want that, do we?
Well, we don't want that.
No.
But that's all we've got time for another episode of Coach's Corner. Make sure you tune in next Wednesday when both myself and Matty look at what happened in round 7.